Derby County announced the arrival of John Eustace just this morning in a deal which sees him take over the club until 2028, should he not get sacked from his position. David Clowes had a range of words to say, and here are what they are. I'm excited to welcome John back to Derby County. Fans will remember him for his craft, commitment, intelligence. He was a real leader. I followed his managerial career with interest, and it's clear he has the qualities we need to maintain our progress. He helped both QPR, Birmingham City avoid relegation before taking Birmingham City to 6th place prior to his departure. He has then repeated that same feat at Blackburn Rovers, leaving behind a team in the playoff places. I'm thrilled that he shares our belief in the potential of Derby County and that he wants to play a leading role in our plans. When we bought the club, I was moved by the passion, solidarity and shared belief that bonded all of us who cared about Derby County. From the players to the staff to every single fan, we shared a determination to save the club and drive it forward. It's the same bond which we now need to get behind John and the players for these final 14 games. That bond was clear as day at Norwich last Saturday, a team fighting and refusing to be beaten, urged on by our magnificent support. This is now a season within seasons, and it's time for that passion, solidarity and shared belief again to show what the Rams really mean to all of us. Now, John has signed a contract which keeps him at the club until 2028, and he takes that position with immediate effect. He will be joined by Matt Gardiner and Keith Downing as assistant head coach and first team coach. Now, obviously, we've spoke about John Eustace time and time again over the course of the last few weeks because, I say the last maybe 10 days-ish since Paul Warne was sacked, and it's one of those for me where I really believe that John Eustace has this club's best interests at heart, is a real quality manager who knows the club, and that is something which I think Paul Warne lacked during his time at the club. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, he's brought in two of his most trusted partners, being Matt Gardiner and Keith Downing. Now, Matt Gardiner and Keith Downing arrive with wealth of experience in their own right, and that's something which we can take a look into a little bit more now. Gardiner is a native from the West Midlands, served a number of clubs in both professional and non-league. In his youth career, he began at Torquay. He spent time at Shrewsbury and places like that before beginning his coaching career in 2010. Now, he's one of these coaches who I think will be a massive help for John Eustace. He was first appointed by Eustace at Kidderminster Harriers in 2016, where he stepped in as head of coaching, and then obviously moved to Steve McLaren's backroom team at QPR in 2018. He then re-linked up with John Eustace at Birmingham in 2022, and then stuck with him in 2024, moving to Blackburn Rovers, and has obviously made that following switch to Derby County. Now, Keith Downing, also born in the West Midlands, he spent a lot of his youth career with Chelsea, but began his professional career for Notts County in 1984. He played for a range of different clubs, including Wolverhampton Wanderers, made 200 appearances there, including a promotion from the top away from the top flight. And he was one of those people who could be, again, massive for John Eustace in this type of move in his career. Really understands the importance of managing big players and managing big clubs. And you look at the clubs he's worked at: Blackburn, Birmingham, some big teams. I'm not saying Blackburn are a tiny club, we're obviously just a little bit bigger, but it's one of those for me where I really see how this could be excellent for Derby County. And he obviously then linked up with Eustace in 2022 and with Blackburn Rovers just under 12 months ago. He spent time at Bristol City with Dean Holden and took up the same role at Plymouth Argyle alongside Stephen Schumacher. And a lot of you lot will remember Mason Mount. He was part of the England setup in 2015 and led the under-19s to the under-19s championship in 2017, which did have Mason Mount in it. Now, obviously, the big questions for Derby County will always be how quickly can John Eustace get his ideas to the players and get what they want going straight away. Now, for me, this is going to take a long... It's not going to take a long time for us to sort of see the patterns of play that they're trying to develop, but it's certainly going to take a long time for us to be able to make that happen consistently within games. I don't think tomorrow is the right place for us to be sort of expecting that sort of straight revival. Now, I put a tweet out earlier today saying I just want to temper expectations. Tomorrow won't be the start of Eustace ball, whatever that may be. He will only have had one session to build something, so our first sighting of proper Eustace ball will be versus Millwall when he's had a full week of training and we're back at Pride Park. Now, obviously, we all sort of imagine that John Eustace is going to put us into a 4-2-3-1 scenario, which I think is going to be quite interesting for Derby County, because you look at the squad of players that we've got and things like that, and obviously we've been lacking sort of confidence and ability in those wide areas over the course of the last few months, really. But is this going to be a situation where he can really turn it around for Derby County? Now, there's obviously also that opportunity to play a 4-3-3. Now, for me, I personally believe it'll be a 4-2-3-1. I think it'll be Ryan Nyambi at right back. I think we'll go Callum Elder at left back. You then go obviously the midfield two with David Ozo and Ibu Adams, with a midfield three in front of that of Mendes Lang, Kenzo, Jackson and Salverson up front. Obviously the Jackson call is going to be the difficult one, because obviously we've seen how much he's been lacking confidence, and there is also a world where Yates plays in that 10 position just behind Salverson, but it will be interesting to see how it does all work out and which players are going to sort of get a lease of life this season under John Eustace now, because obviously when we look at Derby County, we are in a bit of a difficult spot because we are just outside that relegation zone with just a point. Well, it's not even a point. We've got 29. The team above us is Cardiff on 31 and Hull City on 29, but they've got a game in hand. Plymouth are on 28, but they have a game in hand, and Luton Town are on 27 and they have a game in hand. So it really is the time that Derby County really need to be turning this around, and I do believe that John Eustace will do it. Now, if we just go and take a look at some of like the league data and things like that when it comes to teams, if we go to the FootMob rating, you've got Blackburn Rovers are ranked 8th in the division, and we have to look at these things because it's very, very important. We go goals per match, and Blackburn Rovers I think are around the same as Derby County. They rank 13th. Derby County in 19th, and it's not that I believe we're going to be this great dominating team all of a sudden where we're going to score loads of goals, we're going to create loads of chances, but I certainly think there's going to be a change in the way we play. 47% possession they average in 15th place at Blackburn. Derby County on the other hand down in 22nd at 44, and a lot of you won't understand the difference that 2% can make for a club, and it's one of those for me where the important thing for Derby County now is seeing a change in performances and seeing a change in results. We look at Blackburn Rovers, and obviously they've not been in the greatest form as of recent weeks. Obviously picked up a good result last night, but not one that John Eustace was involved in. But it really is an opportunity for Derby County to change their look. They rank 6th in goals conceded per match with just 1 per game. They're 5th in clean sheets. They're 12th in expected goals. 17th for shots on target, which is a little bit disappointing. But it's one of those for me where I really do believe that Derby County can use this as a springboard. And I do believe that John Eustace is the right man to take Derby County forward. I've spoken a lot in the past about having former coaches, mainly in the name of Paul Warne, who I don't necessarily believe understood the magnitude of Derby County and what the club actually meant to its fans. Now, obviously, we've kept Matt Hamshaw and Andy Warrington as part of the new group, and in complete honesty, I'm not afraid. I'm not worried about it. It's not a bad thing. I do think that come the end of the season, they may be changed and adjusted, but we'll obviously have to wait and see for that to happen. But it's one of those for me where if John Eustace can get them on the same plan, then I've got nothing wrong with them staying. I think they're both decent guys and both good at what they do. It's just about the people who are above them telling them what to do, essentially. And it'll be interesting to see how Zetterstrom's approach will change to games now, with obviously Warrington under a different manager. So these are all things we've got to talk about. If you haven't already, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I do believe this is a great appointment for Derby County, and one which I do believe will propel us to stay in the division. Now, if you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, hit the like button as well down below, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. and I'll catch you in my next video.